The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of its hosts, guests, or callers, and do not necessarily represent the opinions of WTBR-FM, its management, other producers, or sponsors.
Good Wallace didn't get herself ejected in the state final for some dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to say I dreaded showing up to this football game on Friday night, but
yeah, we'll see what happens.
like, if you want to talk, you have to talk into the microphone. There we go. Mic to mic.
I'm lost.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bird's Eye View here on WTBR-FM, WSBR. It is we are actually penultimate week before football is back in Berkshire County. High school sports have begun. I'm Jesse. I'm here with Mike on the Bird's Eye View. We do have the Hankus Pankus in the corner there. He's honestly... He's staring down Thanos right now. I mean,
just daggers, just daggers.
He has got a pretty mean stare. I don't know. It certainly did not get it from his father, so maybe his mother.
Just silent daggers right now. So, silent is the operative term.
Well, that is
radio.
Definitely a preferable term for a small baby. But yeah, I mean. He is, it's early on a Thursday for a 8-month-old, and he's very clearly not happy about having to come to this nonsense show. So we're gonna appease him. Hopefully, I was hoping he'd have some good takes for us, but I guess he
hasn't seen much yet. Yeah, he hasn't been out to. He was at actually the only sports thing I've covered so far this fall, which was a golf match on Monday. He was there with me, taking in the lovely Berkshire Hills, eating some of their grass and etc. Yeah.
You know what? That's a good part of a child's
Gave
diet.
Sam McLaughlin a fist bump. Or not necessarily. Doesn't fist bump yet, but you know.
Was he on the kiddie green practicing putting?
He was. He was just off the 9th green with me, just hanging out.
There you go.
Trying to keep him out of the sun as much as possible. But yeah, this will be a new adventure with a slightly elder child joining us, I believe, for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I think when we were doing the show in the spring, he was just kind of would sleep through the whole thing, and now he doesn't do that quite so much anymore. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, and you got lucky the first time around because the kid was during COVID, so you didn't have to be many places.
No, I was nowhere. Yeah.
So now
very
it's
very little places went to.
You're not a rookie, but you're kind of a rookie.
I suppose it's a different world out here.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I think we'll hop into it here. Different worlds and all.
We're coming up on wrapping up our fall previews.
Fall previews, yeah. So I talked about 4 of the football teams.
Yeah, we closed
Thursday.
the show last week with a conversation that now is completely null and void.
Which was about?
I think I just asked you like last minute of the show, like pick who's like MVP. And we're like, we haven't talked to Freddie Conyers yet.
Yeah, I guess that's a big place to start.
Yeah,
Freddie Conyers no longer at PHS. So I saw Pittsfield High, Monument Mountain, and Lee.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. So that was just after the show.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Freddie Conyers, I guess it's not a huge surprise. He's a very, very talented athlete. Good opportunity for him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he is, I've been told he's off at Hotchkiss School. He is at prep school. So football team will no longer have his services. Boys basketball team will no longer have his services, which is tough because he would have been one of their better returning players, senior.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is a brutal loss for the football team that graduated so much. Mark Strubery gone, Jack Reed gone, Elias Robinson gone, Aiden Carlino gone. You had solid role players like Rodelio Mack, who's no longer there, Dominique Billups, Caden Boehm, they're all gone. So, yeah, he was a first-team receiver and corner and returner last year. 666 all-purpose yards, had a lot of touchdowns, and yeah, now this season, it was... He could have it. Oh, now Henry's talking.
Yeah.
Is he smiling?
He's a big Freddie Conyers fan.
He is a big Freddie Conyers fan.
Never saw him play football, but...
No. Well, he saw him play basketball.
If you never saw Freddie play football last year, you kind of missed out. And hopefully you're able to see him at some point. Or
I think my favorite thing about Freddie
playing on Saturdays in the future, but he was like...
He's
I would
faster than everyone
argue
else on
like
the field.
the most special thing to see in person last year was Freddie Conyers with the ball. As much as other guys, put up more
I
production,
might argue for
Marcus,
but Freddie would be the other acceptable
Marcus
answer.
was a little more overpowered. I just seeing Conyers dance through defenders on a screen pass and then break one for 60 was just kind of a next level thing that as good as Jubry was.
I think my favorite thing was in week 1. Freddie took the opening kickoff from Holyoke for a touchdown.
Sure.
And basically from that point, everyone understood we're not kicking it to him.
Yes, yeah.
And twice more in this season, teams kicked it to him. And each time I remember being there and be like, oh, so he's scoring. And it'd be 80-yard touchdown return. It was just, what are we doing? But yeah, just from the jump, you knew, okay, so just we'll take the penalty by kickoff out of bounds. It's better to do that than to give it to him with blockers in front of him.
And count on my 11 guys to be able to catch him.
Yeah, because they're not. They're just not.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a different level of athlete, and hopefully he finds the competitive level that he's looking for. But it certainly opens the door, both at Pittsfield High and around the county for who's going to grab our imaginations this season.
Agreed. Yeah, PHS. This will be a rebuilding year. They've, like we said about Wacona, small year for this year for Wacona, small year this year for PHS. Only 26 kids or so. I think 15 are first-time football players. A lot are the good news is the glass half full is only 7 are seniors. Oh, now Henry's talking. What's up, Hankus? Is he still staring at you?
His eyes are a little more active right now.
Okay. All right.
He's just angry to be in the car seat again.
Oh, that's understandable. In any case, only 6 or 7 are seniors, so they'll have a big junior class. They stick together. They could be really good next year. But this year is definitely there. You're going to have a lot of young kids who are taking their lumps, a lot of first-time starters, first-time players taking their lumps. They're just going to be a small team, so they're going to have to deal with that. They are in a tougher league. They're in the Suburban South now, so they have... Oh, what's up, buddy? He's much happier now. He was giving me evil eyes earlier before we started. Now he's doing a little better. PHS is in the Suburban South there with Wacona. And then that's also Agawam, Amherst, Chicopee, Comp, and Putnam. So Wacona and PHS are the 2 smallest schools in that league. And they're just gonna have to deal with it. They have to take their lumps. Cooper Reed, who's Jack Reed's younger brother, freshman at left tackle. They have at least 2 more freshmen, I think, on the line. Their most likely starting quarterback is going to be a freshman. It sounds like they're going to play several quarterbacks, just because of the way the offense is going to work, kind of what PHS does with the deep passing and the running from the quarterback and all kinds of stuff. So I think they're going to mix some guys in, but freshman is most likely going to get the bulk of the starts. They're just going to have to learn. They're going to have to take it. But
it's been a while for that offense now, because you had Jubry for back-to-back years. You had Keanu Jackson
Arce, and
was a senior before that.
Patrick Rinfus,
and but it's been a long time since a newcomer tried to grasp what Coach Suzuki does. And
the good news is if he shows he's got the stuff, then you have 4 years of him.
Ideally, yeah.
So, we'll see what happens with PHS. But true, in terms of offensive player, offensive MVP awards and player of the year and all that stuff, it's now very, very much wide open because he's not there. And
I was gonna ask you to make a ladder, preseason ladder for it. But
ladder
that show isn't that what they call it? I think that's what they do it in the NBA. They call it throughout the season. It's like the MVP ladder. And it's just a ranking.
Oh, sure.
No, I don't know.
MVP race, top 5, something like that. Yeah. Well, in any case, as somebody who could potentially be on that ranking if his team does well is Monument Mountain's Dom Kaludi.
Sure.
Coming off a breakout basketball season, helped the team to the state final. He's now a senior. He's been the quarterback for 3 years now. He's going into his 3rd year. And I'm kind of excited for what Monument can do. They lost some big pieces. Sean Frank, who was a first-team running back last year, was second in the county in rushing yards. Great season. and he graduated. Samson Peter and Robert Schur, who were both huge on the line, they graduated. They lost a couple others. But Dom's back, and I think this offense very much is his. They'll have some guys who I think are interesting at running back, but aren't as proven or certainly as explosive as Sean Frank. Chris Tucci was very funny. He goes, Sean Frank and Nick Henderson aren't walking through the door, but neither is Larry Bird. Which I think his point was, we're just going to have to deal with it, right? Like,
Sure.
Those kinds of top-end guys don't come through every time. And T.J. Brown flashed against 6 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a senior. Cameron Boyno's a senior. He's kind of been in that, you're behind Sean Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there'll be a nice complement. There's going to be a bit of a committee approach, perhaps, to running back. Kaludi can sling it. He's got a good arm. He's big. Griffin Tupons, who had some injury issues last year, he's got speed to burn. He has speed to burn. He can get behind the defense. I've seen him make some nice catches on vertical passes, on deep routes. So if the line holds up and they're airing it out, I think Monument could definitely have some real talent on offense. And Kaludi passed for 1,000 yards last season, first time, which gives me confidence that he moving forward he can improve upon that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the passing attack is going to need to take a bigger step for Monument to continue its winning ways because of what they've graduated. And you have once again a 30-year senior quarterback. You have a proven threat on the outside. Good pieces for that to be the case.
Yeah, who was on the other end of the majority of that 1,000 yards?
Isaiah Kiefner.
That was Kiefner. Okay.
Yeah, he had like 500 of them. So.
Okay. Yeah. So there's an issue there, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. So he graduated, and so that's a big that's a big hole. But once again, he had 500, and Dupont, despite missing some time, had 285 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of yards to go around, and I think that he could be the beneficiary of many of them, many of the targets. Because when he did, when he got open deep, if Kaludi had time, usually good things happened. So, and Monument, they'll definitely play some teams they can throw against. Belchertown most likely, McCann, Smith Voke, Pathfinder. We'll see what happens. They also have Fitchburg, which was kind of a crazy. How did this happen? But they had another game that dropped out for some reason, and so they backfilled with Fitchburg, which went 0-8 last year, is also a D4 team.
Yeah, big city.
Just because they didn't have success recently, they're still a very, very, very large team and school. So we will see how Monument handles that. They'll also have to drive the 2 hours out to Fitchburg, so that's definitely something to take into account. They have Hoosick Valley in non-league schedule. That's going to be really tough. And they have Lee in non-league schedule, so that's also going to be really tough. Two very, very good teams. We talked about Hoosick last week. Talked about Lee because I saw them as well. I saw them the same day as I saw Monument. Yeah. I am excited for Lee. I think they can be I think Lee should be in the playoff mix once again. I don't know if 8-0 is on the table, especially because of their schedule. But they... I think have the best backfield in the county. Ooh.
It's bold.
What's up, Hank?
Bold statement.
Hi.
He says that's a hot take, Justin.
He is. He's looking at me like it's a hot take. Oh, now he's looking at you.
Yeah.
Oh, he's happy now. There we go.
What about Devin Schwab? That's a hot take.
He was reaching for the microphone. I don't know why you stopped.
He wanted a hot take.
Yeah,
he's like, how dare you? I'm a big fan of the running backs at this school.
Well, so, yeah, Devin Schwab, 1,000-yard rusher last year. Very hard to replace, but Dawson Reber is a senior. J.D. Reber is a junior. Dawson Reber last year.
I will say, if you want a hype man, Tom Salinetti, pretty good.
Tom Salinetti is a fired up guy. He is.
I don't know how good those two are, but listening to Tom Salinetti tell you how good they are is, it certainly makes you think that
not lacking for confidence.
This could be special, yeah.
Dawson last year was a big kid, but felt like he wasn't necessarily running like a big back. And J.D. Reber, I was actually very impressed by because he didn't get as many carries, but I thought that he showed good explosiveness, was physical as a runner, and this offseason, Selenetti, very, very happy with what they've done in the weight room.
Bullish, you would say.
Dawson was not actually at the practice of that. JD was.
Okay.
He looked in shape. And so I think they both can absolutely be just up the middle, downhill runners. They're going to punish defenders. They have speed to break it. Dawson showed really nice hands out of the backfield last year. I think they could each be 7. I don't know if either of them will get 1,000 yards, but that also could be because they combine for like 1,600. You know, so and this team is also replacing Amari Smith, who was the starter the last 2 years, spent time at quarterback as a sophomore. So that's kind of a leadership hole and a just comfortability with having your proven vet. So Mason Daly, David Kirchner are in the competition for quarterback, and that's just they're both. I mean, they showed plenty of talent on the baseball field at Lennox. Daly's a very good pitcher, but they're still going to have to prove that they can be a quarterback, that they can run the offense, that they can direct, the O-line and call things out at the line and all that kind of stuff like that. So having a good ground game is going to be important. And I think there's going to be a lot of carries to go around for the two of them.
Sure.
And their defense was very interesting because he said, I think our defense could even be more physical than last year. And the last year was a heck of a physical defense. So we'll see how that looks. But their defense, I mean, Blake Hoff, Thomas Lucy, Dawson Reber, J.D. Reber, Seamus Cooney, all really, really good. Xavier Shook had some flashes as a younger player, and then he kind of fell out of the rotation last year. And I'm interested to see what he can do on the outside of his corner, especially because Zach Nkotra is gone. So, their defense could be very, very, very good. The real question mark is quarterback and offensive line, because Brendan Albert, who was defensive MVP, is gone, was a really good offensive lineman. Anthony Crea, who was a first-team offensive lineman, was a good defensive lineman, is gone. So replacing that is definitely going to be a question mark. And I think Selenetti is happy with who he has. It's very much, once again, the leadership, because you're missing a bunch of seniors. They had a lot of seniors last year. But this team certainly has plenty of potential. They play a heavy Berkshire County schedule. They play PHS, which is cool. That game hasn't been around since the fall 2 weird COVID year. They play Hoosick Valley in league play. They have Taconic in league play. They play Wacona. That game hasn't been since 2022. That was my first fall in the Berkshires, and that was in Lee. Wacona smoked them 36-0. This game will be in Dalton. They also play, now I am blanking, they play Monument, of course. They play Monument in the South County SmackDown. That game, 24-6, kind of a comfortable Lee win last year. So this year we'll be in Great Barrington. Last time I was in Great Barrington, Monument won. And then Lee, in its new league, like Hoosick Valley, they get South Hadley, they get Taconic, they get East Hampton, they get Holyoke. So we'll see what they can do. But I think they should absolutely be in the playoff mix. Yeah.
So is it not a clear gap from Hoosick to Lee to everybody else, or is Lee up there on kind of Hoosick's heels?
I'm going to answer that question after we come back from our commercial break. Right. So stick with us here.
WTBR-FM is listener-supported radio. That means we depend on your donations to keep the station on the air. All the local content and the music you love requires your support. You can make your donation today at WTBR-FM.com by calling 445-4234 or stopping by our studio at 4 Federico Drive in Pittsfield. You'll be glad you did. Pittsfield Community Radio, for the love of radio. Underwriters are so important for keeping this station alive. Hi, this is Sean Sayre, Executive Director of PCTV. I'd like to thank our local businesses for supporting Pittsfield Community Radio and for believing in the mission of the station. When you hear underwriting messages on the air, you know those companies support WTBR-FM. If you're listening now and your business would like to join in and support us, call me today at 445-4234 and get involved, or visit us at WTBR-FM.com. It will make all the difference.
Welcome back, folks. Bird's Eye View, Jesse and Mike here on WTBR-FM Pittsfield, WSBR Lee. So, before we took that break, Mike asked, tiers in county, right? And personally, as I mean, we haven't seen a single game yet. This is just what I'm looking at with preseason and who has what back and all that. I think it's Huzik and everyone else.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I think it's Huzik in Tier 1, Lee in Tier 2, and then everyone else in Tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Huzik should be making a Final Four run. I think Lee should be once again be in the playoffs, potentially win a playoff game depending on their matchup. Everyone else, if they make the playoffs, I think is a very good, a wildly successful season.
Right.
Because I just don't know if anyone else. Everyone graduated a lot. I don't know if they have the numbers, if they have the horses. So a lot of PHS and Wacona, we both know we're rebuilding. I think Monument can be solid, but we don't know what their schedule has often kept them out of the playoffs, and they're still missing some big pieces from last year. They have some question marks. Taconic and McCann both had bad seasons last year, and so they are still trying to turn things around. So yeah, there's too many question marks for everyone else.
Yeah, I was trying to bring up because the internet's not working, but when is the Huzik Lee game? Is that late season?
It's back half of the season, but it's not Lee. I think it's week 5.
So that is a benefit for Lee, you would imagine, to not kind of have that game be right off the bat.
Sure. I mean, they have Monument right off the bat, but
yes,
sure.
but if that's going to be your benchmark kind of...
I mean,
are we a playoff team?
I get what you're saying, but on the other hand, they go Monument, PHS, Wacona, and then I think like Holyoke, Huzik. So it's they have 3 county teams like we're off rip.
Yep.
So and
but if you're a playoff team, you should beat those 3 teams.
You should, but on the other hand, all 3 of those teams are larger than you. And you haven't played them in a while or won in a while against them, or not with the exception of Monument, So yeah, I agree. I think they should be able to win, but I wouldn't count anything out, just because of it feels wrong to say that Wacona is going to be down, It's like
I suppose it does, yeah.
It's it's like, all right, they had a bad season. They went 4-4 and almost upset the number 6 team in the state, and it's like this. If that's their standard of success, then yeah. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it feels wrong to say some of these teams aren't going to be good. But in terms of just, the playoffs, I really only am looking at 2 as having a serious shot. If PHS or Wacona do make the playoffs, it'll be mostly because of strength of schedule. But that will also mean that they have gotten some big wins over teams that we're right now we look at as being ahead. So, that would mean that, for example, the PHS freshmen are really step up and they light things up, and they're able to fill the hole for Wacona. I think that would mean Jerry Bober and Anthony Talora are the best backfield in the county. I think they certainly have a lot of potential. So if they turn things on and Wacona's rushing for 200 yards a game, they definitely have a chance to make some noise, because I think they still do have some talent on the offensive line. But they're also replacing a quarterback. What's Henry Eaton there?
It's a good question. Something he's not supposed to.
He was. I mean,
something blue.
You were. I was doubting Lee, and he got very angry about that.
Yeah.
But
no, he says he's a big fan of. Who are you a big fan of? Lorenzo Lewis. You've met him. He spent more time with me in our track season, so I feel like he's going to be more into the track guys who are football players. That's why I'm big. Dawson Reber was a big-time thrower for
Gotcha,
Lennox.
okay. So that's why he's a big fan.
Yeah, he's a fan of him. Yeah.
Lorenzo Lewis could be in line for a bigger season, because he was kind of like a 5th or 6th option last year with everyone who they had. So he'll be stepping up, I think, as a receiver, slot back. They'll move him around a little bit. But we have a few minutes left. Mike, you saw some golf.
I did see some golf. Golf. The questions entering the season were going to be: is Wacona still kind of the pinnacle? Given Tim Cayley's gone, he's in college now playing golf. And Wacona went out and kind of took care of business. Okay, that was from his mouth. That was from his mouth. Everyone.
That was so funny.
Yeah. So Wacona. The new rules for high school golf this season allow you to play eight golfers. So of Wacona's 8 on Monday on opening day, 5 were playing their first ever competitive varsity match. But the other 3 are all high quality returning golf kids. So Sam McLaughlin shot a 1 under 34, which was by far the best score of the day across the county on opening day. He had 3 birdies. He's a senior. They might have a couple other seniors, but not a lot of these guys have played golf before. So golf's a little odd that you can just kind of hop in as whatever grade you wind up being. But between him, Kessler Anello, and Logan Aitken, they have enough that if they just get one other kid shooting sub 50, sub 45, they're going to probably beat most of the county teams. Because, if you just depth-wise, Taconic should be better. They're going through a little changeover right now, but they should be right around the 160 mark. I think Wacona was 155, 156 in that match. Greylock, there are strong individual golfers kind of dotted around the county.
I was going to say, Greylock, I mean, they have Wills Verluga, who looks solid, Jacob Hillman,
yes,
who looks solid, but I don't necessarily know who's behind that.
Exactly. So there's 2 really good ones up there. Joey Abderhalden still might be the best golfer in the county, at least historically looking over the past couple of playoffs and stuff. So he's still down there. I believe Mount Everett has a quality golfer. I don't know. Monument didn't play opening day.
He said dada. Has he said that before?
He just makes sounds. It's hard to pinpoint
that was
what it is.
Definitive dada.
Definitive dada. Dada. So that it makes the Berkshire Classic should be interesting when that rolls around, but I don't know that anyone has the top 3 depth to knock off Wacona, from what it seems anyway. And I'm just kind of dipping into soccer right now. We're starting to get rosters are coming in. If I were to just kind of think the biggest questions or the biggest stories I'm looking forward to seeing, it's going to be Pittsfield girls, given they shift into this new league. And coming off the success that a lot of these girls had in basketball season, it's a heavy roster of that basketball team.
Yeah, Harlan Castillo, Kiana Summers, Madison Stats.
Yep.
Who else?
Keeps going.
Actually, they have Bridget Ellerby. They have Asia.
Caprice Conyers is their top
Conyers.
Returning goal scorer. She's only a sophomore.
Asia Smith-Moody, that's what I was thinking.
Asia Smith-Moody is also on the soccer team. So seeing what they're able to do, because since they kind of escaped that terrible, brutal league they've been in the past handful of years, where they're winning 1, 2, 3 games a season. Now they're going to be able to compete a lot better with a lot of these teams, and that's going to kind of
as discussed before. They're with Wacona, Drury, Lennox, Mount Greylock, and Monument Mountain.
Sure. Yep. I just think it's going to build confidence throughout the season when you're winning more, and that's going to get them a little bit better seeded. I meant to look back this morning, but what PVIAC Class B looks like for girls soccer, just because we haven't even remotely been involved in that the past few years.
They
beyond Monument.
Last year they beat Wacona to earn the 8th seed, and they lost to Hampshire. But I think Hampshire is usually the top dog. Seth Hadley's really good in it. I think Pope Francis is there. I don't know if...
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to use their season to build up enough that they can compete in a postseason setting like that. You could argue Wacona as well. I don't believe Wacona graduates a whole lot beyond goal. So they could be right there as well. We haven't seen complete rosters. Coaches still kind of figuring out rosters and numbers in particular. And then the Pittsfield boys, Monument boys, who did stay in that Churchill League. Very curious to see if they can kind of continue to hang, or was last year where they were both very, very, very strong playoff teams. Was that more of a 1-year peak, and then we're gonna kind of have our dip to the valley? Did see Monument roster came in. They only have 2 seniors on it, Owen Heck, Oliver Curtis, but they do have a lot of quality returning soccer players. So.
Yeah, we won't have much time left. Definitely be some big questions for PHS. Graduated something like 13 seniors, so they're going to be very young this year. They're going to have to take some lumps, and yeah, like you said, a really dynamite league. Minnehaha, Northampton. I think they have Agawam, and then they have Monument. Hampshire's in a different league now, but they think they still will play Hampshire. In any case, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, we'll preview the Week 1A action for football. We have a little more sports talk with volleyball starting up as well. But
volleyball jamboree is tomorrow at Wacona if you're interested in checking that out, 4:30 p.m.